Well, I have mixed feelings. I haven't been in a 25-meter pool for, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years anyway. But today, Sweetie and I go to the sauna, which is in this building. So we do a 25-meter laps and go to the sauna. Have a great Monday. Pow! Hey! I thought I'd talk a little bit about my swim today. We went from swimming to sauna. Katja did something with her eye during her swim, so now I'm sitting outside the emergency room at the Inselspital while she's getting her eye checked. And I thought I'd take a few moments and talk about my amazing opportunities to practice patience and acceptance, and I had some great talks. I just, every time I take myself out, I have this openness that I think gives me opportunities to have experiences of my brothers and sisters. I'm so touched. So I mentioned before I was doing 25-meter laps and don't like those. And you put 4 or 5 people in a 25-meter lap pool, and you put 4 or 5 people in a 50-meter lap pool. It's like it's very, very different. So, yeah, 25 meters turnaround, and my turnarounds, it's it's like turning around a barge. Moving this body and then hitting the wall and going back. Oh, there's a message from my sweetie moment. So I just learned I can't put this on pause and then go over to my WhatsApp app and communicate. So anyway, 25 meters, turn this boat around, 25 meters, turn this boat around again, go back. And yeah, with my lungs, I have a pace. And when I increase that pace, I get a bit out of balance with my breathing. So when there's people who are going a bit more slowly than me and I need to pass them, or I choose to pass them, I can turn around and go back the other way. There's lots of choices, but anyway, so as I choose to pass them, then it changes my relationship to my breathing. And there were these 2 old guys, and I can call them old guys because I'm an old guy. And there were these 2 old guys that were swimming together. And so not only did I need to pass one, I needed to pass 2. And they were not so slow. They were going a pretty good pace. And so to get by them, to get to the wall, to turn this ship around and go back the other direction again was a challenge. And so anyway, I did it, and I thought, yeah, well, these old guys, they're going to get tired and go home, and they didn't. And about about 7 or 8 laps, I would catch up to them again, and then I would need to do my passing, and then I would need to recover, and then I would get to the wall to turn around after I passed them, and these guys were just too close. It's like, wait a minute, I was swimming fast enough to pass you, and you guys are right on my heels when I get to the wall to turn around. It's like, what's going on here? Because then I'd get to the next wall, 25 meters away after my turn, and then come back, and then they would be 10, 12, 15 meters behind me. It's like, I don't get it, but I'll tell you about it later. So anyway, these old guys, and so I'm making this choice. I'm going to pass them, and I'm going to just have to find harmony with the change in my breathing, and then go through my recovery, and then I find my rhythm. I get my rhythm, the one I'm comfortable with, and then here I come back on these guys again. And so I've chosen to swim 2 kilometers. And 2 kilometers in a 25-meter pool is 80 laps. 2 kilometers in a 50-meter pool is 40 laps. So big difference in turns. Anyway, so I'm coming up behind these old guys again. And it's like, I'm just going to go slow. I'm going to go slow. And so let's see, lap 79 and made the turn right behind them, and it's like I'm going slow, and it's like, nope, I passed them. And so I really, and it was nice to feel my physical power. I think I have more physical strength than my lungs have allowed me to experience. They kind of guide me. And I won't say hold me back. They guide me. And so, I felt a lot of power, and I knew that once I got these last 15, 20 meters, I would end my swim. And so I got there and I stopped, and these old guys stopped too. And so I just smiled at these guys and I said, hey, you old guys are good. And they're good. They're good swimmers. And so we talked for a while, and then I sometimes ask people how old they are. Huh? I do that. And this one guy said I'm 67, and the other guy said I'm 73, and I said, yeah, I'll be 73 on Sunday. And he said, hey, you're fast, he says to me. He said, every time you would pass us, I would try to catch up to you. And it's like, yeah, I thought so. That just didn't seem right what was going on after I passed you guys, that you were staying so close. And so anyway, we had a great exchange, and then a young guy, he comes up. I haven't seen him for a couple of years because when I'm not swimming outside, last season I swam inside at a different pool, 50-meter pool. And so I hadn't seen this young man for a while, and we've had some great talks, and he came up to me and he smiled. He said, it is so good to see you. And he said, I was concerned. And I told him, I said, yeah, I did have a bit of a challenge for a while. He said, yeah, I thought maybe you had, and I was concerned I wasn't going to see you again. And it was so touching. This is a young man in his early 30s, just a super triathlete. I mean, he could be a swimsuit model. And such an open, sweet young man. And it was very touching to see him. And I think I stopped for now. I need to check. I just got a message from Kati again. I want to see what's going on with her. And then I guess I'll continue this either from the parking lot here outside Emergency or from the house later, because I can talk a bit about my experience in the sauna, where I also had some great opportunities and great teachers and good talks. So check in later, huh? Pow. Back again. My sweetie is being cared for at the Insel. I only live about 5 minutes away, 7 minutes, and so I'm home, and she calls me as she's ready to come home. I believe she's going to be fine, but she needs some care and some treatment. So I'm going to talk a little bit more. Oh, what's that? That's an alarm. Go away. Yeah, sauna. So Katya and I go to the sauna after I swim, and they have a wet sauna, which is about 60 degrees centigrade and really intense with moisture, humidity. And have a dry sauna that's 90 degrees centigrade and pretty dry, some moisture, but dry mostly. And so the first thing we do, Katya and I, we go into the wet sauna. And so we're just talking away and just having a good old time as we do. And we were in there for maybe 10 minutes. And Katya left a few minutes ahead of me. And then as I was walking out, someone says, excuse me. And often in this environment, the initial contact is not in English. It's like in Chiltico, excuse me. And so this really tall guy, he's over 2 meters tall. And he says, can I tell you something? I said, well, of course. And he said, you and your friend are talking really loud. And the way that this place is structure is without really any insulation. And so that room you're in is right next door to the quiet room. And he says, I can hear everything going on. And I come here kind of, yeah, for a kind of a sacred experience, a meditative, a quiet experience. And he said, I'm not against people talking, but in a very quiet tone. And I said, oh, I said, hey, I'm sorry. I thank you so much for telling me. We were just really not being aware and considerate. And so, yeah, I went and I met with Katya and told her what happened and that, yeah, we need to keep our voices down. And I can totally get what this guy's saying. My path many years ago was very connected to Native American spirituality, and I was going to sweat lodges, which I found out some years later is not a good thing for a guy with lung disease. But yeah, anyway. So anyway, moment. Yeah, my machine was beeping. It was full. I like having ice. Oh, I lived here for 20 years before I figured out I could buy a little ice machine and have ice anytime I wanted to, which is what I knew in my life in the USA before I came here. And I won't talk to you about ice machines and ice makers in Switzerland. That's a topic. Anyway, so back to my story. So anyway, Katya and I, we rest for a while, and we go into the dry sauna, and we're there for a while. And then I'm planning to stay for a 15-minute cycle, and Katya, she leaves after about 8 or 9 minutes. And I'm in there on my own, and here this guy comes in, who I had been speaking to. And I said, excuse me, but I just wanted to, I said, I want to thank you for telling me what you wanted. I said, I needed your wake-up call because I was not being considerate of my brother, and that's what I want to express is my consideration and respect for others. And then he said, it's all right. I don't want to bother you. And I said, oh, wow, no, you didn't bother me. We had a great talk. And I said, by you telling me what was going on for you, then you and I have an opportunity to kind of come together and share, and I appreciate that. And I need to be reminded that, as I'm wandering around a bit self-consumed and oblivious of the effect of my actions on others. And so not only in a very specific way about talking loudly in a sauna, but you remind me that, as I'm walking around on this planet, I'm having an effect on my brothers and sisters. And I can move more quietly. I can move with more awareness. I can move with more consideration and respect. And it really was. It was such a good experience for me. And a little bit later, so you go from the hot sauna, we do hot sauna, really cold shower into a cold bath. I think about 14, 15 degrees centigrade, so pretty cold. And so Katya had done her shower and her cold water tank and was sitting, and I was in the cold water tank, and this guy comes out and he's taking a shower. And so as I'm in the cold water tank, I get some silly ideas, eh? So the silly idea is, when I get out of the water tank, I'm going to introduce him to my very loud partner, Katya. And we all had a good laugh about it, and because I had told her about my communication with this man. And I'm just so grateful that I've done this work. not to have all of these specific outcomes that I just talk about, all these stories. I work on me to be more open and to be more spontaneous and to be more aware. I told this guy, I said, I don't know that you thought about this consciously, but you spoke to me. I said, you spoke to me with respect. You spoke to me telling me what was going on for you. You didn't attack me. You made it very easy for me to listen to you. And understanding that, that's this dance. I believe in the consciousness of a oneness, but often I'm not in that consciousness. I'm in this consciousness of my separate humanity and your separate humanity. But when I live with this intention to respect that there is a connectedness, and what I give is what I live. And so anyway, that's a long message. I'm going to put these guys together and post it on YouTube, and I'll check in with something short later on to let you know how Koch is doing. Have an amazing Monday evening, Monday, whatever it is, wherever you are on this planet. Pow.